Hey, good evening, Free Enterprise. Let's try that again. Good evening, Free Enterprise fans. I'm Slayers, and I'm joined here by Moleboy doing the commentaries for you for this final race of the Moonveil Mixer portion of the Eblan Elixir League. We have quite a matchup here. Rhybon, former tournament winner, versus Marten Broadcloak, another top-tier runner, certainly no slouch. Now, to set the stage, both of these teams, this is representing Bacchus O'Clock somewhere for Rhybon and Team No Springs for Marten Broadcloak. Both of them are at the same breakpoint of a 4-3 record. Now, both of them are technically fighting for a 5-3 record. There's a kind of a huge tie going on in there, but the way the math's going to play out, they're both basically eliminated. So what we're playing is an exhibition match against two fantastic runners with nothing on the line except, their reputation, maybe some memes. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Moleboy, how you feeling about this one?
I mean, I am super excited. They have been wanting to play each other for a long time. Definitely even when it comes to, pickup races, acing, stuff like that. So this is the first time I believe we have seen Marten face off against Rhybon in a tournament setting, and I cannot wait to see the shenanigans that happen.
That's actually, I didn't know that. That's incredible. Yeah, these two, I mean, a bunch of us have definitely in our spare time, done some races against each other. Lots of pickup races between these two, I'm sure, but to be on the main stage is pretty hype. Also, Rhybon's naming scheme. I believe Rhybon came directly from a flight overseas to get home and then do this. I mean, major shout out. I can barely imagine doing that.
Yeah, and it shows how important this race is to Rhybon against Marten, that he wants to make sure this takes place. This is edging into grudge match territory, aside from the fact that I don't think they actually have a grudge against each other.
Grudge match without the grudge. Does that just make it a match?
I mean, yeah, if you want to be boring and not hype this up.
Right, so we have a match between Rhybon and... Okay, anyways. Edward Hero. What are your thoughts?
Edward is a very tricky hero. He doesn't give you a lot of power. He's not super fast like Edge. He's not going to do damage like Edge or have HP. And he has more agility than you want for usually most of your party.
Yeah, he's definitely the challenge mode of the heroes. I would call him the quote-unquote worst hero if you don't like challenges, but definitely something that I think Marten and Rhybon both like to run. So they both like challenges, and we're off to the races.
Yeah, starting Porum, not Porum and an apple.
Yeah,
so,
not really the power couple or start or item. I saw a Grimoire in there.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see if we have the same or divergence for checking characters, checking loot, because goodness knows you need at least a dancing dagger for this.
Yeah, this team's begging for a dancing dagger or a decent bow and arrows. A heroine robe would be amazing. Mm-hmm. You could try the Hobbs character and hope that they're amazing right off the bat and just YOLO that Grimoire and try to get results. We see Marten dropping down at Mist immediately, looking to do some looting and shopping. Meanwhile, Rhybon's heading over to Troya, looking to do similar, I'm sure.
I mean, you're not you're not getting through stuff with the party as it starts. So let's find out what they do to power themselves up enough to at least make some checks.
Yeah, I like the start for both of them, honestly. Given this team, the item you really want is a dancing dagger. I think that's just the easiest item to get going with, even though Edward really doesn't have any health to start here. And, that or a bow. And to accomplish either of those, the shopping is a pretty reasonable way to go and do it and kind of get, some other information along the way.
For sure, we see so much option. Troya, I missed who the bed character was.
Okay, that was Edge. Edge in bed it's good to know. That's actually not a gated character on this flag set, but there's only one duplicate of characters, so that is probably the only Edge in this seed, so really not going to count on him unless that Sand Ruby shows up.
Propness asking what was the starting item? An apple.
think it was a gold apple, the AU.
So that is a shiny 100
Yeah, it was a gold
HP for
apple.
somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big pile of money, I guess, if you want. Elven Bow in the Dampian treasury down there, I did notice. Not a bad pickup. It doesn't have the strength on it that you would really want for Porum, particularly, but it is a mage slaying weapon, so that, you know, pretty good there.
Also, just shoutouts to Martin not being here to push the button, considering Rhybon bought a boomerang and then immediately found one in the basement.
That's always how it goes. Also, Chet had pointed out something I'd missed in Troya. Rhybon, so vampires can be found in shops in this flag set. Vampires are also a very good way to get started. Those were apparently in Troya. We might actually see it right now on Martin's side. Unless we saw it in the inn before. Or the pub shop, I should say. I guess I just missed that. But if they have those items, that's also a way to get going.
Yes, vampires are a huge power boost for your start and help you clear the overworld. Check
Trying
Hobbs,
to peek
hopefully
this
get another
inventory.
character.
I don't actually see it. Yeah, I don't actually see it. But it's another thing to go looking for shopping, which is why I think shopping makes more sense than running out and looting.
Oh,
wow,
that is
a
huge for
heroin
Martin.
robe. Just sitting in there in the grass in Silvera.
Okay, so now we have to start for some power for Porum.
Yeah, heroin robe is basically an adamant armor for the ladies. I mean, it's real good.
As long as you don't want them to heal.
Yeah, which honestly
and
you want them
there
to murder
are
right
the
now.
vampires.
Well, they're the vampires, and we have a Tella and
dear.
an Atlion on Hobbs. Fine place to find. So this is what I was saying, by the way. You could just run to Hobbs and yellow this Grimoire, and okay. Good talk.
Yeah, Rhybon just, casually high rolling.
Yep, just roll a Bahamut. Casual 5k. You get a Tella for your trouble, which is an exit mage.
This is, I mean, you're at this point it's any character in a storm, right? You need something.
Yeah. It does give Rhybon and eventually Martin pretty good incentive to run ordeals. Now the heroin robe from Martin does give him pretty good power on that Porum, but if Rhybon doesn't find that heroin robe, a Tella with his spells unlocked is really the only thing they have going for them right now, which would make an ordeals play pretty tempting, somewhere along the way. I don't think it's going to be immediate, but definitely on his mind. Martin's seeing his outline now. He can just throw vampires at this one, so I don't think the Grimoire's going to get thrown.
No, probably saving the Grimoire as a use for the Crystal Room when we go up ordeals. Ninja shirt for Rhybon, decent bit of cash.
Yeah, Rhybon has looted some reasonable things. Also, a ninja sword I saw. My brain's freezing on where he found it, but in Hobbs, the back of Hobbs. Or no, actually, this chest right here, yeah, at the front of Hobbs. Both looting, by the way, the back of Hobbs because you have that Tell that exit mage, so nice.
Yeah, WeHo is a good. It's a good check when you got Tell.
Can I admit that I hate we call it that now?
I mean, it's not going to stop me from saying
word.
it.
No, it shouldn't.
But also, the free Soma drop to get your Tell to 100 isn't terrible either.
No, actually, that's very amazing. Meteo does have its uses, as much as we meme on it, because it takes a year and a half to cast. It is very useful early game.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see if Martin makes up time here on the Antlion fight just because of having that heroin robe, that the power bonk is going to be way stronger than we were seeing on Rhybon's side.
Well, Rhybon still had a bow and arrows, and Plague is weak really to that, so it really didn't take him very long to get through that. And a pass is a reward from Antlion. That's always nice to have because it makes moon dives much less of a worrisome decision, because the worst thing you want to do is like run to the moon, find something that sends you back to Earth, and then come back to the moon when it turns out you didn't have to do that. And the pass just sort of means that once you're done with the moon, you don't ever have to come back.
For sure. definitely helps with the routing and deciding how you're going to go through. But let's see the difference here. Oh, those vampires also massively helping Marten.
Yeah, vampires do work.
Get 3 hits.
Yeah, not bad. By the way, Plague at the Alliance spot's one of the rudest things that you can find if you have no power.
Yes.
Little tip there. It is actually a dangerous fight if you can't kill it fast enough. My recommendation is to throw up a Star Veil before it gets to do anything, because it'll reflect the count, and then that'll make killing it at your leisure a lot easier. Good tip when you don't have a lot of power. Meanwhile, Rhybon's run over to Fabul here, and actually so has Marten, so we're both going to see Fabul defense, no fading Fabul this time around. D-Lunars. Rhybon says I got a pile of bombs with your name on it.
Yeah, and I don't think Marten picked up the bombs.
No, I kind of love the bombs from a like early ordeals play kind of perspective, like kind of just in case the alcohol shows up. Like it's certainly better than nothing. They're not vampires, but they can do the trick against certain fights, and this is one of them. Also, vampires, do not recommend throwing vampires here.
Yeah, kind of like when you're just going on autopilot and you decide to throw a vampire at Mylon Z.
Yeah, and then they're undead and you realize, like, oh, I just did them a favor, and yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Marten... I don't think Marten has the bombs, so I'm going to be curious to see how he plays this.
Now, the D-Lunar counter... Sorry, the singular D-Lunar counters every action with a fire, which is actually spooky. Barely makes it. Rhybon, a very good runner, almost certainly counting his damage, knew what the threshold was. No worries there.
Yep. I do want to shout out the exact opposite of the Grimoire in the fact that Marten just pulled Chocobo.
Yeah, that's usually my result. I feel that. And here's our underground access. That is the magma key from the King of Fabul.
That is, and Marten will be getting that shortly. It'll be interesting to see if either or both of our runners immediately go underground, if they decide to check some of our overworld checks first. We'll see how it plays out.
Rhybon...
I don't think either...
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think either player has scouted Baron in for the character yet.
No, I don't think either has either. Rhybon, I was going to say, has more incentive, I think, to run underground immediately because he can just check shops for better gear, like that heroin robe. Whereas Marten already has that heroin robe and may decide that it's good enough to just keep going on this overworld before running down, trying to keep really efficient.
So even with looking for access to J items, there might be still an impetus to go underground. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the J items are certainly nice. You know, hourglasses, Bacchus, coffins, those things. But the thing you really want to help you accelerate when you have a low power party like this is like a samurai bow, samurai arrows. You might still find mute or charm arrows down there.
For reference, Marten did already find charm arrows.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, charm and mute you can find above ground, but for Rhybon,
yes.
I think underground just has the shops he still wants and also the free key item. I don't blame him for doing this.
Yeah, interesting. Rhybon did not take a silk whip.
We do see a weapon and armor shop check. These runners really want a cursed ring quite badly. Well, not quite badly. There are actually ways to make the agility situation with Edward work out okay, but a cursed ring certainly makes things easier. So, you know, Marten also interested in running underground immediately. Wants the access to those shops underground, wants access to a free key item, might honestly even just want access to doing a siren, because you have the eggs open to you by doing this. Yeah, Rhybon's running to Dwarf Castle immediately. Really wants to do these shop checks. He might even do like a cheeky... I don't think he will. You could check the boss here. You are hunting for 2 bosses. All right, find sirens immediately. Buys 18. I mean, they certainly have a lot of money.
do. I mean, Rhybon getting like the ninja shirt that sells for a nice piece of gold. Charm rods.
Yeah, and a full moon, but really nothing here that can benefit this team. No problem. Leave. Go to the next town.
And already has a ninja sword, so you're not really as incentivized to get the full moon when you already have the boomerang.
Correct.
Marten
See, Marten says, yeah. See, Marten says, I don't. My shopping situation isn't quite as dire. I am gonna run for this free key item right away. Also gearing up. I'm curious if he's thinking about
the warrior chest.
The warrior's chest. At least scouting out where it is. I don't hate it.
Tiara, also a decent pickup. A Sork robe.
Hey, we got a job dwarf check. Job dwarf is a bank teller.
Always good to have the seed verified.
Okay, samurai bow and mute arrows out of the shop.
In Tomra.
Here in Tomra, thank you. My brain was a skip. Oh, and a heroine robe. This is the Porum one-stop shop. Perfect. This is exactly what Rhybon was looking for.
Yeah.
Get in there, Porum.
Oh, and a coffin.
Get in there, Porum. It's all you now. Marten taking the moment to loot, gets a black belt and a silk web for his troubles. Probably wants some money.
Yeah, he did get a ninja shirt.
And just a chance at some decent items. And I've also seen Marten in general this race, just a Dragoon Spear for the free key item in the Fey March. I've also seen Marten run to different locations than typical, like Silvera. So that tells me he is looking to differentiate himself from Rhybon by checking loot at different locations.
Or sure, I think he just hawked the apple, maybe? Or was
I
that
think Marten used it. Marten used it. They've actually both used it on their Edward, which I don't blame them for.
Oh, and the curse ring and ninja hats.
Yeah, and ninja hats, both very good. Kind of surprised he didn't go in on a ninja hat as well. I know money looks a little low, but he has a bunch of things he can sell. Agility is one of those very strange things for our randomizer, but the long and the short of it is that you really want control over whether your middle character can go fast, can go slow. Also,
oh my, I can only pray that is required.
Marten could not exit fast enough. Would you like to explain?
So, the king side, where the evil wall is, has one of the highest physical attack settings in the game. And the other side has a very high magic value and is very, very fast.
And has the Maga Sisters, which is...
Yes.
Might be the worst fight you can find at that location.
Yeah.
And Evil Wall might be the worst fight you can find at the Leviathan location. Certainly one of.
It's up there. And we see the exact same response from Rhybon.
Yeah. One looking... nope. I mean, there are a number... One, you want the information, and then two, there are a number of free adjacent bosses that this team could theoretically take care of, but not those two. Now, meanwhile, we do see Rhybon running a Siren. I want to say Marten might have as well.
Marten just did this, yeah.
Yeah. And then they're probably both going to run, because they chose to go down pretty early with the Magma Key. I think they're both incentivized to do the Sheila 1 check, because you're going back above ground anyways. There's really nothing for this party to do down here. You don't want to do Dwarf Castle, you're not powerful enough. You don't want to do just top of tower. Yeah, maybe Marten does some shopping.
Checking Tomra, I think. It'll be interesting to see if he checks the weapon shop, because this is where the Sammy bow and the mute arrows were, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, he might just for a better weapon. Honestly, I wouldn't be that surprised. And you got an exit mage, so it's not like it's going to cost you that much time.
And you're still searching for power at this point.
Yep. Verifies and going to sell I mean, sells a ninja sword, knows that that edge is locked behind a sand ruby. Your odds of getting that edge this seed, well, you never really know, but sometimes you gotta trade for the unknown for the known. Sell the ninja sword's worth a bunch of money. If you find an edge, you can find weaponry for him later.
Yeah, I will just
Buys that
say,
samurai bow.
so Jabron brings up Eddie with a Rhybon negates the evil wall. I'm gonna go with a yes, but because you don't have a party that can actually get there, and you don't have an agility situation where he will be able to hide before evil wall kills everybody.
Yeah, it's certainly something you could workshop in the middle of a high stakes exhibition match if you really wanted to. I don't think either runner wanted to.
I do have a sneaking suspicion that people will not be doing science during this race.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, so both runners really in lockstep here. Lockstep here. Crystal Sword. There is a guarantee of one of each character in this flag set, with one duplicate out there somewhere. So Cecil is somewhere in this seed. How accessible he is, we don't know, but I was going to say I like this quite a bit because you do Sheila 1, you run to Fabul, and then you go just northward to run to Ordeals, which both runners haven't done yet. So really both the folks are in lockstep. Martin doing the good old Chocobo Forest. Finds a Charm Claw for his troubles. Sometimes you find a fun, cheeky thing there. Martin loves to do that one.
Yeah,
Charm Claw is not really it.
Sometimes you find a Ninja Sword, sometimes you find a Charm Claw.
Yep.
Now we see Rhybon finally realizing that Tella is here to stay and might as well give him some gear.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see this pretty commonly from runners that are very optimized about their menuing. They will often not equip their party members until the stakes really matter. They'll even, if they know that they're going into a fight that isn't really that difficult, you might not see an equip because you can save that equip for a later state, basically, when you have more things you might want to equip. The time spent on menuing is honestly very, very important.
We have a pause.
That could be an alt gauntlet.
Hey!
And it is. So Rhybon with these bombs, by the way, remember that?
That's gonna help him out, aside from I think the ghosts will absorb, right?
They do absorb fire, but there are a lot of undead in this fight, so you're going to see these bombs make pretty good work. Now, Martin did have one Gaia drum, and then the second fight is 3 spirits and soul. The bomb won't work, very well here, but the rest of them with the zombies, and there's I think a double lamia at the end of this. Pretty good.
Yep. Answering Jbrun, yes, you're correct. Evil Wall does a lot of damage to itself, but not enough to kill itself with Eddie hiding.
I always thought the Leviathan spot it could, but I'm honestly not sure about that one. I've been playing this game for years. That's something I've never done yet.
Yeah, maybe with this party, because you would only have 2 if Eddie hid, then there would be more hits that Evil Wall did to itself, but I don't think it's quite enough.
Yeah, so everyone, everyone, all 2 of our runners are now everyone. Both in this alt gauntlet fight, you really get to see efficiency at play here as they run through kind of battle by battle. Like these 2 skeletons and 2 red bones, Rhybon will make up time if he hasn't even gotten there yet with the bomb. But yeah, after this, depends what our deals gives, but it'll be Baron in. Yep, there's that bomb. Gonna take care of this encounter very quickly. After this, likely to be Baron in, and then have to deal with the underground with this. Really depends on that Baron in character.
The character and what we get out of it, right? If you get an Earth Crystal, Twin Harp, I think those probably divert you.
Oh yeah, if we get Twin Harp, Baron Key, Earth Crystal, then you're gonna stay above ground, but So it depends what you get, of course, but if we don't get any direction, then we're pretty quickly going to get forced underground. And I'd kind of like to see the two of these get forced underground with a less than ideal party, because I think it would be very entertaining for us specifically.
It very, very much would. And I'm thinking, is the Marten the only one with a curse ring?
Yes, I believe so. Well, Rhybon was down there.
But I think it was.
I honestly don't know if he checked.
I think it was Silvara.
The curse string was in the Feymarch, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so Rhybon, I think, would have checked both those shops, but I'm honestly not sure. By the way,
oh, he's got a curse ring right there.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to Karate at the spot doing the kick around the world. One of my favorite things. You get the backwards Zentetsuken too here from Odin. It's pretty fun. Marten not saving, saying, yeah, my Edward's good enough. Of course, in Sea Hero, the way that we've done Sea Hero on this randomizer is that, like Cecil going in alone, your hero will go in alone. So this is Edward versus pretty much any fight in the mirror room of any boss we haven't seen yet. Winharp, that's an objective.
Yeah, I think Marten's confidence probably is the fact that he's got mute arrows, which are going to mincemeat this, or he'll just use a coffin.
Yeah, I mean, Marten's got a lot of tools available to him. This is one of those. Yeah, this is one of those examples of when you know your power. We do like to say always be saving, and save to your comfort for sure, but it's undeniable that not saving does save you time.
What I see the argument Marten's going for here, which is like, I think he's got the black belt on Eddie, he's got the Sammy bow. It's pretty powerful for what you're gonna need to get through.
Oh no, Edward ran out of arrows, punched for a round. Unfortunate.
But sometimes that leads to epic moments, like when Porum punches Zed to death.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny one. By the way, I want to point out, speaking of efficiency, which is, I think, is just going to come up very often in this race because these two runners so far have been doing the same things, the same checks. Marten throwing that Thor Rage out there, getting rid of the little soldiers and letting the officer retreat, versus Rhybon coffining the back soldier and then kind of taking out the rest of them individually. Really, Marten getting through that faster with pretty much better strategy for that spot.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget that there's no experience in the in the room, so that. But yeah, both of our runners now at one objective done, with the football gauntlet finished, and Marten heading for objective number 2. Yeah,
honestly, when you find the officer-soldier fight in most places that offer experience, the officer's holding the brunt of the experience in that fight, so when he runs away, you kind of miss out on most of it. So you'll see runners like coffin the officer, maybe even throw a life glitch in there to double up that kill. But yeah, in the mirror room, not really a thing. We do see some divergence. Rhybon has run to Baron Inn, finds the dolls at Baron Inn 1. This is totally fine. I think even a Thor Rage will take care of this. Or those bombs, if he has any more. Doesn't. Oh, and actually that would explain, because he ran out of bombs and didn't have the Thor Rages that Marten must have found and bought for that last fight. But anyways, Rhybon at Baron Inn, and Marten's going to immediately running to do this Twin Harp. Now this is an objective. We often love to fade this spot because it is very long, and you often want a way to take care of this fight faster than the cutscene can get you through, because it's scripted, you're supposed to lose. So that's why we see Marten throwing this virus and the kamikaze just slightly faster than Dark Elf going through all his spells and scripts.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Demist is the karate spot fight, and Demist is holding a key item, so this ends up being a double. But I think I need to stop talking, or I'm probably going to get booted out, because we're about to get some music. So please enjoy.
Let us see what sort of tune DJ Spoony B is going to do tonight.
Also hook for Rhybon. I always get nostalgic. Good old Kingdom Hearts, that title screen music, always kind of gets me. It's a game, like, I'll kind of turn it on and just leave it on because I just really like the song. Also, Darkness out of the Twin Harp is quite the get here. No
Yeah.
hunting for that Darkness this seed.
Also pointing out while the music was going on that Martin also not punished for the Rhybon getting the demist earlier, since that gave an Ether 2, though the hook could give him, well, that's a good hook shot.
Yeah, I mean, Martin is... There's almost no world, in my mind, that Martin will fade Baron in. I mean, you never know, but he really wants characters that aren't exactly these three, so he's very incentivized to go run over to Baron Inn. We'll get that hook himself, and then really the big thing out of this hook is, of course, the shops, but then also this character check, which is why Rhybon's running all the way to the back, because again, they really want a Cecil, they really want kind of anybody at this moment, except maybe Sid or Yang.
Do they have anything? They've got charm arrows?
Oh, Rhybon triggering the Staleman fight is deciding to take it. Now, we have seen some cheeky adamant armors coming out of this chest in particular. It doesn't have the greatest odds of hitting at that tier 8, but adamant armors are on in this flag set. And if it's not that, I mean, it certainly could be something else incredibly useful. I mean, or it could be like, oh, I don't know, maybe like a firebomb. I don't know, it's the worst thing I've seen out of this, but...
I mean, coffins, vampires, sirens.
Yeah, but Rhybon's got the tools for it, says, you know what, why not?
Yeah.
Honestly, kind of faster than resetting at this point anyways, I would think.
Yeah, and we still have not seen the...
that went so fast I missed it.
Oh. We're being told Ninja Star, so one of those things that isn't terrible, but...
Alright, a Ninja Star, and then also Yang is not really...
That's not who you want to see here. That's not who you're
really
hoping for from a gated character. Martin, meanwhile, doing nothing.
Running right to the moon. Yep, this is another character check, another gated character check, which Cecil is gated in this flag set. It's the character they really want to see. Rhybon says, I will take this Yang, likely very begrudgingly. Finish up the loot and then exit out of here. Hey, and there's that Cecil sitting there on the moon.
Just shout outs to Marten RNG.
Now, whether Rhybon gets this character or not really depends on how soon he wants to check that character. I still think he's very incentivized to check characters because, again, this is sort of a reject percent party right now. But he runs into ground instead. He says, okay, I can do Dwarf Castle for the character instead, and then also still keep going on the on the key item checks. So we know there's probably not 2 sauces in this flag set, so Marten definitely got got something of an advantage there.
Yeah, and well, he's got Tella, so we at least have Warp. Unless I don't think he dropped Tella, did he?
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, I mean, that is a large reason to come here to Dwarf, because you get the character check, you get 2 bosses, you're still looking for Golbez. By the way, Kenatsu, not terribly fun at this spot, has a huge pile of hit points. But anyways, yeah, and then you get the 2 key items because of the warp glitch, which takes you to the darkness crystal room in the sealed cave because, you know, Super Nintendo glitch reasons.
Yeah, and called out in chat, Marten did not do the hairdressers.
Speaking of things that I did, that wrinkle me. I know that the hair dryers, because they look like hair dryers. But this evolution of hairdressers gets me. That's fabulous. All right, Marten is running to this. Wait,
talking to the doll.
Whatever. Who are you? I don't think I've ever seen that text before.
And again, this Thorage is Marten bot, helping a bunch. Also gonna help him when he inevitably hits this Kainatsu, though a Crystal Sword Cecil.
I mean, yeah, Crystal Sword Cecil's gonna say hi to a great number of fights. Not particularly effective against Demist, but it's still a pretty powerful, like only 600 out of a Crystal Sword. It's probably the lowest you're ever gonna see, but you know, he's practically base level, like it's fine. And Demist resists wholly. This Kainatsu fight is, I think, not going to be difficult for Rhybon, but it is going to be extremely time-consuming. There's all this time spent putting up the wave, taking down the wave. Maybe at this point he doesn't care anymore, he lets the waves happen, but like all these animations are going to happen. Kainatsu is going to hide in the shell. You hit Kainatsu when he's in the shell, and it's going to put that message up again, and it's going to take a very long time to go away, because once the message comes up once, it's just a very slow fight. Meanwhile, Marten, when he gets here, is to be like, hi, Crystal Sword, crunch, and it's probably in a few hits gonna die.
Yep, and Marten picking up his hook.
Says, all right, Edward, you've done the job.
Yes,
I need
bow
your
into the
curse
inevitable.
now. Yep. Marten doing a little equipping, setting up for his new character. Setting up a little bit of the character situation, a little rearranging. Might even be thinking about the end of the game, honestly. You really don't want to be doing this menuing very often, so you kind of think about where your characters are going to be and kind of line them up in a really good spot to get you through the rest of the seed. Meanwhile, back attack Wyvern could be very nasty. Hold guess, however, not so bad.
And Yang not lasting terribly long before being replaced by Rydia.
Also, I take that all back. Marten is actually going to trigger. Marten's actually going to do this Demon Stream grind. I'm a little surprised it wasn't even on my mind, because you tend to want to do the Demon Machine when you need power, and Marten has power. He has that Cecil, but says, you know what? I can get a lot of levels very quickly in Slingshot. I guess the Rosa and the Cecil? I mean, the Cecil's probably only gained a few levels, so if this is a Slingshot for Cecil, dude, just a few of those dragons up there, it makes sense.
Well, and having the Crystal Sword, you can spy, let's say Golbez is at Elements or CPU. Like, gives him knowledge there, so...
Yeah, so this has got to be a double sling, so Rosa and Cecil will get double experience from the next fights until they catch up within 5 levels on average with the rest of the party. So Marten has done the job. of manipulating the RNG in this game, which in a Super Nintendo game RPG is very easy to do. We've kind of already mapped it out. Big shout out to like Exoden and other folks who have really figured that stuff out. And I'm sure other folks I'm not even thinking of, honestly. And is going to run to the giant and get this guaranteed D-Machine fight. So meanwhile, Rhybon's still getting key items here, so gets a package. And then just a glass hat out of the warp glitch. That's quite the miss. Little boy, did you catch the character? Oh, Rydia. Vanilla. Okay, Vanilla Rydia. Rydia does gain some random summons out of this dwarf chuck when she grows up. So if she has Leviathan, for instance, it's honestly pretty useful right now.
Yeah, and we saw Leviathan in one of the underground shops.
Yeah, it also could be a very, very strong incentive, little boy, for Rhybon to run and do a D-Machine grind.
Yeah, I had the same thought. But first he's going to check package to see if it's the guy, since he doesn't know yet.
Sees a Kane, isn't interested, may check the Moon character, or may say, you know, if he's there, so be it. Now, we were talking about this before the race. This particular grind isn't that popular on this flag set because it's a high completion flag set, and you're often getting your experience along the way, but there are some situations that do call for it. Also, yeah, chat rightly pointing out, Rhybon doesn't even have this darkness crystal yet, so he doesn't know. And actually trades out the Tella.
Interesting.
For
I guess
Yang.
he's done now that Warp Glitch is done.
Oh, he might be doing a big pile of sirens.
He did buy 18.
What's about to happen here. Yeah, so he doesn't know that Twin Harp has that darkness, and so really has none of that incentive in mind. Coming back to Dwarf, I'm curious what the... Oh, this is for more sirens. Okay, all right. So we're seeing two very different high-octane grinds. This says, my party, especially for Rhybon, my party's really not good enough. I want all of the experience. To get Rydia to nuke, you need a big 3-0 sirens. You need a big pile of sirens. Sold the Crystal Sword for it even.
Octa Crystal Sword for we're going nuke. Actually, no, is this nuke white?
I think it's nuke white. Yeah. Also, he bought... yeah, I'm pretty sure he already bought like 18 sirens, so he's got like 40-something sirens sitting in his inventory.
He has what we would call enough. I think he's going to have to buy a section of coffins.
Yeah. And now, when I say high octane, I mean like that you take your party from like kind of 0 to hero in one sort of grind moment, and sometimes the seeds really call for this because it ends up being the fastest thing to do.
And heads up play from Martin using the backroad Porum with the power staff, which has, I believe, a 99% hit rate.
Okay, he might have only bought 2 sirens instead of 9. I don't know why I saw it. That's fine. Now, as far as what's going on Martin's side, I think Rhybon is doing a bunch of shopping still. That's my guess here.
Yeah,
maybe
I'm thinking
saw that
coffins
cursed ring and didn't buy it. Coffins are a good way to get through eggs. It's very true.
Because he doesn't have anything right now that'll let him one shot.
Yeah, so sees the coffins, buys 30 coffins. Yeah, you called it. So now, this grind on Martin's side. So the searcher is going to pop up a D machine, so dragon machine. It only does this fire-based attack. So this is, especially in the vanilla speedrun, it's kind of like the way to get all the experience for your party. You have to cast weak on the gold dragon, or sorry, the D machine. Anybody can hit it then, because it'll be on single-digit hit points. This isn't like a trivial thing to do. I think a lot of folks in the community they don't love this grind for a couple of reasons. One, it does take a bunch of time, but also it's because it can be very difficult to keep under control. There are a lot of things that can go wrong, and one single thing that goes wrong can really end this fight and encounter. Now, Martin's really an expert at doing this, so I don't anticipate any problems, but you kind of never know.
No, I think this is basically as set as Martin's going to be. He's got ether 2s. He knows the jumping agilities, things like that. So he's accounted for that. That's part of why his party's set up the way it is. I think this is going to be as smooth as a D machine as you can hope for.
Yeah, so he makes it look easy, but really, like, every character is in the place that he really needs them to be, so that the turn order is very consistent. He has everything really put in place that he needs. I also don't think we're going to do that many of these. Cecil doesn't really need to be more than, I don't know, level 45, 50-ish. Same with that Rosa. So yeah, we already see Martin's going to abort this D machine grind.
Yeah, because you're not needing to get anybody to nuke, because you don't have a nuke caster. Really, you're just supercharging Cecil so that that Crystal Sword can go burr.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the reason Rhybon has chosen to do what he's chosen is that he's really saying that he's going to take what he knows, and he knows that he has a Rydia, a Porm, and a Rosa, and that all they really need are levels. And actually, so with the same thing with that Yang. And so that's why he's bought these 30 Sirens, and he believes that this is, for him, the most efficient way to get through the rest of the seed. We know that that's going to be very unfortunate because he's going to be here for a rather long time, and Marten is already done with this D machine grind.
Yep. And I believe coming out with a casual 48 extra levels on Cecil.
Yep, 52 on Rosa, 53 on Cecil. You can really... so for the rest of the seed, it is Rosa and Cecil, and everybody else is kind of a punching bag.
Porum might cast Berserk.
I mean, Porum will do things too. She's another white mage, and honestly, so is Tella, technically. But, like, you really just need the Cecil and one white mage at this point. And we are going to check this boss at Elements. We are still looking for Golbez. Marten might even be priced into fighting some bosses here. Like, this is technically free, and Marten isn't resetting. I think he's going to go for it.
Yeah,
This is Bahamut. All it's really going to do is count down and then cast Mega Nuke.
And he's got a couple people that can cast Wall.
Yeah, the way you deal with this in the rando is the same as the vanilla game. You cast Wall and Profit. Of course, we're going to Berserk the Cecil to make this a lot faster, but...
Yeah, so 10 punches or a couple punches and then the inevitable Mega Flare.
Yep. The spot does have max health, so it's like, what, 52,000-ish, but we're doing like 4 to 6k a swing. One of these Mega Nukes is gonna probably do quad 9s. Like, it's not gonna be that long of a fight. The only reason Marten is doing this, though, is at the off chance of a Golbez at the CPU spot. And sorry, 65k, thank you, chat.
Yep. And along with that is also the ability for, there could be a Foo on the Giant. There is a character check here. So
yeah,
if Marten really wants to, jackpot.
Yeah, I mean, that's technically true. You really don't need the Foo. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, I guess you would get rid of Tella for the Fusoya, but, like, you don't really need it.
Yeah. Oh, and just barely misses winning before the Mega Flare.
Yeah. So he might even not save and run immediately to check the second boss, and if it's nothing, I wouldn't be surprised if he resets and then warps out.
I'm going to say, Mr. Bus Driver, I like where your brain is going. I will just say that would require Marten to get another Crystal Sword and a few other things, and maybe he does it, maybe he doesn't. Also, the fact that Cecil will be unleveled.
Alright, he does go back and save. He really wants to retain that experience. Might even... I don't know at this point. Is he just going to go through the whole Giant? I mean, Marten casually loves to make this kind of play. It's like run at the Giant a lot earlier and, like, do silly things. Okay. He sees the shard and says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not that silly.
No.
He is silly enough to go find the eyeball, though. Oh, he's going to walk out. Okay, you could warp. I guess warp's a little weird when you've already run to the Elements room, because it's actually going to put you in the Elements room, then back, then probably in the Elements room again, because you were there before. Yeah, so just gotta walk it out.
Yeah, and I want to say people smarter than me have done the math, and it's a difference of like 15 seconds or something for warp versus walk.
Which 15 seconds is kind of a lot, honestly.
Without the Elements room, so I have no idea how that changes the math.
With it, it's probably about the same. I'm offhandedly gonna guess, or very similar anyways. Alright, so Marten is done with the Giant, and Rhybon is I don't know how far we are. It doesn't feel that far, to be honest. Yeah, we're halfway through this.
Marten finally checking Demist with the whale.
I love flying the whale around. It's just amusing. It never feels efficient, but it's amusing.
Oh, it 100% isn't, because you have the extra cutscene whenever you land.
Yeah, but just like, I have all this power, this massive spaceship. Let me go, you know, shopping for, like, groceries with it. And there's that Ether 2 from Demist, verifying that Demist doesn't have anything he needs, and says, you know what, I'm good. I don't really need to do any of the underground. I got a moon to fight. And so far, I think he's gonna, I mean, besides top of tower and that Fey March, we know that the underground is not really profitable at the moment. So I think this play is going to work out pretty well for Marten.
No, I think this is definitely feeling like the more efficient play at this point, and definitely up to this point has paid out for Marten massively.
Yeah, I mean, the choice, Marten, here for Moon or Earth, you've done a D-Machine grind, so you have the power to get through the Moon. And again, I think based on play earlier, Marten really might be looking to either differentiate his play, or he might be thinking Rhybon's doing a lot of the same things. And so Rhybon, you know, like conventional wisdom here would say if you've done D-Machine grind, you have the power, go Moon first. Thinks Rhybon might do this as well, so he's just going to run straight down. You could do the rest of Underground, and it's very defensible. Though really, it's just Dwarf Castle and that Fey March, which Marten does have the power to take on, but chose the Moon.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? You're going through the D-Machine, so you're trying to supercharge your party. You might as well leverage that by going to the harder areas first. And if you have to go back to the blue planet, well, you're going to stomp that real quick.
Yeah, there is also the off chance... Actually, okay. Thinking about these objectives. Alright, so we need... Yeah, okay. Marten really wants to find Golbez more than anything. There is a chance that the Moon has... So we have to do the Crystal Sword Altar in the Rhybon Room, and we have to launch the Falcon. So all of these objectives that are the random ones, at the three at the bottom, are doable for Marten. If you find Golbez, you get the jackpot. If you don't find Golbez, you have to find both an Adamant Rock and a Legend Sword, which gets a little tricky. But that's also very much guiding Marten to the Moon, are these objectives.
I was also thinking, too, is it makes sense because you cover, you get your key items out of here, and you have the pass. So you can just be done with the Moon and know you don't have to come back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Moon really at any point with the pass is very, tempting in that way. And that might also be why Rhybon... Well, I guess Rhybon doesn't know where darkness is, actually, so... Alright, Baron guards at the Crystal Room. Coffins take care of this very well, has 4 of them in inventory. Doesn't really need to life glitch at this point. It's all the experience he wants, so Marten is going to deal with these fights as fast and efficiently as possible.
I mean, and if you look at it, Marten has a 3600 HP Cecil. So by the end of the Moon, we could have a Cecil that could eat 2 unnerfed Big Bangs and be okay.
I mean, that Rosa already has 2600 hit points. He could run to Zeromus right now and probably never nerf a Big Bang and be just fine.
Yeah, that situation where you don't even counter nuke because just take the Big Bang and then cast Cure 4.
Yeah,
it's the power couple finish.
Yeah. Gets a pan for his trouble. That does represent 2 additional key item checks. If the Moon has nothing else available, that could become a driver to go underground. Not just a driver to go underground, but it might be something he chases as opposed to like doing Dwarf or Tower or whatnot. But we got more of the Moon to do before we're thinking about that.
Yeah, I think the only thing that might make Marten skip out is finding Golbez, because then you just do the Rhybon Room and you call it good.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Golbez's here, it's just done. And Marten now is already very well in the lead, just based on a couple of choices here. Finds King Queen Eblan. This is the freest of fights. By the way, if you want to know the best way through this fight at a high hit point spot, do nothing. Do absolutely nothing. They will wear themselves out and then script kill themselves. It's almost always faster, unless they have, unless they don't have a lot of health.
Yeah, ask me about the times that I've run into this fight, or checked the package with an Avenger.
Yeah, it's a bit of a feels bad moment. I've definitely run against the D-Lunars and then immediately coffined my Avenger wielder before they could do anything.
Yep.
I've been there.
You're not wrong.
Marten getting literally all the experience. This moon was quite free, actually, honestly. Oh, Crystal Sword and a Tower Key. This moon is incredibly free. I mean, it's kind of showing that you didn't technically really need that D machine, because there were 2 fights that you could, at least the Baron Guards, you could life glitch, and then King Queen is a full pile of experience. I mean, of course, the D machine, it's still a good choice, but there's also this option to do these low level moon dives, and that was certainly on the table.
Speaking of another one that feels a little free.
Octomam's often not challenging. It only punches. It slows down when you hit it because of its vanilla script. It would have been slow. A lot of these fights, of course, really just would have been slow without levels. It's kind of the thing. Also, like, randomly enough, it resists Holy because reasons? Like, I guess...
it's in vanilla, it's weak to the Dark Sword to help you get through the fight, and because of how resistances work, I believe in FF4, they have to set you strong to Holy to be weak to Dark.
I want to say that's actually not the case, that they didn't need to set it that way, they just chose to.
They just
I
did.
don't know. Maybe someone smart in chat will let us know. There are a few different cheeky nods that developers put in, thinking like, certainly nobody will see, the holy resistance of Octomam, because you'll never have a holy weapon. Well, 30 years later...
Kind of like what we talked about with the Leviathan spot having maximum attack, because why would you need to not set it to that? Because Leviathan in vanilla never physically attacks.
Alright, so this is real spicy. Rhybon finishing up those eggs says, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the thing I'm pretty certain Marten's not gonna do. I'm gonna take on this outrageous Feymarch. Chooses to deal with the Maga Sisters first. Now, of course, with all the levels and the gear, and Rudia actually has Quake, it's going to be doable, of course. And this is kind of looking like a seed where the Feymarch is not going to come and play, but you never know. There are a lot of gating key items out there still. There's a Baron key, the Luca key. Luca represents a boss. We do know where the Tower Key is, and there's an Earth Crystal out there, so if one of those comes from the Feymarch and that holds a Golbez or a path to both Adamant and Legend, I mean, Rhybon's not out of this yet.
No, they're definitely... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Rubicon at the Ogopogo altar, one of the worst things you could find there. It is certainly doable, but your plan is to berserk Cecil in that fight, and the Cure 2 counters, or sorry, the Fire 2 counters are real nasty with the magic attack stat there, and Marten says, nah, I'm good.
Okay, so he's setting a save, probably going back in for the Mura altar.
Yeah, he's going to check Mura first for the boss. He might even set up a round of saves comes here. Baron Key from the Maga Sisters. Now we know Mom Bomb is the Baigan spot boss, so this only represents 2 bosses, the King Throne, the Kenatsu spot, and the Odin Basement Throne, representing 2 bosses, 2 chances at Golbez. But meanwhile, he's gonna deal with Bad. This is why Evil Wall is kind of the worst at this spot, by the way.
Yeah, and this is still not even with Blink and everything else,
this is
still not a free fight. Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Evil Wall cheats. Berserk is a spell that kind of cheats also, and Evil Wall, for kind of similar but different reasons, also cheats. It basically acts as twice as much as it normally would in this particular situation. So it punch very often.
Shoutouts to this very leveled Edward still doing like 3k damage with the curse ring on.
3k damage from that? Oh, is that like a...
It was 2,500.
lit arrows or something?
No, spoon.
Oh, right, they have the spoon, yeah. Spoon's pretty strong. He might have also taken the curse ring off. I wouldn't be surprised.
Edward, if Edward's fast enough to outspeed all these spots.
Yeah, Edward's real desperate for strength, so that curse ring would really have tanked his damage. Just Artemis arrows. Has that ruby in mind and says, nah, I'm good. I fade.
Nope. Probably have they. I don't think anybody's spied Cave Bahamut yet, so maybe a check there before we leave.
Yeah, I mean, Martin's the only one up here on the moon, but yeah, I don't think he's gone there either. Thinks about it, says, oh yeah, cave value.
Yeah, I think Martin's definitely going with the thought of, if it's behind Ruby, well, we'll come back to that when we get there.
Yeah, and it's not like that fight wasn't doable, it's just very slow for Marten. Because of all those fire counters, you have to cure for the party constantly. The glares that Ruby casts as part of his script is an instant KO on a party member. You could cast wall, but then you can't cure that party member. It's a very slow, annoying fight to deal with. I don't blame him for skipping it. Just an Odin from that evil wall. Well, good on Rhybon. Of course you were going to do that if you're going to do the Magus Sisters. We did get the Baron key out of it, so there's still value. I think he's still going to chase.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
What is
Rhybon's
this
got
boss,
a couple
meanwhile?
options.
Okay, this is the Water Hog. This moon, so this moon has 3 free bosses on it. I want to point out Water Hog, Baron Guards, King Queen Eblan.
Yep.
And Octomam is technically like the easiest of the punchy bosses to deal with. Pretty interesting. Okay, Rhybon's gonna do Twin Harp. Get the unfortunate news about the Darkness Crystal.
Yeah, that's just not going to feel great.
Well, it's not so unfortunate until he sees the Cecil there, then he'll really feel like it's pretty unfortunate. But I mean, that's just how the randomizer goes. But it looks like this is going to be Twin Harp because it's an objective, and then run to Baron kind of afterwards. That's going to be my guess.
Does Marten get anything out of this one? No.
Well, it's vanilla. This is vanilla Bahamut. I mean, you don't want it, but it's there.
So another question is,
yep. Nope.
Does he go back for the? I guess he's going back for that ruby.
I would be very surprised.
Nope.
There's a long run down to that ruby. I think he said that ruby is, yeah, that's my one hard fade. I'm never coming back to it. The only way he's coming back to it is if he maintains a save scum all the way back there, which is very possible. I don't know if he's done that. I don't know if he will. So I think I think Marten's priced into checking this pan immediately. He's also rather priced into checking Dwarf Castle still, because it does represent 2 bosses. And again, Golbez. We just want Golbez. I mean, like Forge would be good too, but the Golbez would be a lot easier.
Yeah, I think Marten at this point is gonna go ahead and probably launch the Falcon.
Looks like he hasn't checked the Waterfall boss either. Gets the news that it's just Leviathan. Thematic, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, very fitting.
Leviathan in the Waterfall. Also, we are gonna get a reprise of that Kingdom Hearts theme over on Rhybon's side. We may talk over it if something hype comes up. Otherwise, enjoy it. And yeah, the thing Marten wants to do right now is probably just that Falcon objective, because it's going to get him underground, which is where he wants to be anyways. Also, shout out to dear friend J-Mac the Barbarian's favorite boss. Now, This spot has a pile of magic health, but these spells are still going to do pretty well here. And yes, that was Kingdom Hearts, I believe. Dearly Beloved or Dearly Departed? It's the title screen music.
Mm-hmm. And Rhybon gets his news.
Yep, Rhybon has that Darkness Crystal. May or may not be very happy about it. Okay, does a circle around the Twin Harp for the music? Maybe not particularly happy, not really sure. Also could just be, for the fans. Not totally sure there, but... Meanwhile, Marten... Again, this is an objective, so Marten's kind of just going to run through the Falcon objective. It's not going to be very hard. Actually, also, of course, this represents 2 bosses, by the way. This could be Golbez.
We know it's Elements at Ruby's spot, but the first spot could be Golbez.
Rhybon, meanwhile, running to Baron, like I thought. Gonna do this Baron Castle play. Again, the Baigan spot is the Mom Bomb, so not the Golbez we're looking for, but 2 bosses, 2 more key items. Who knows?
Baron could just have Forge sitting right there.
Yeah, now this is about the part of that seed, Mulboy. If you were one of these 2 runners, how would you be feeling at the moment?
Well, because I'm not either of these runners, I would feel extremely, extremely behind.
That's
But
the
otherwise,
fun part.
yeah.
That's the fun part. I wouldn't be surprised if they both also feel very behind. Marten might feel very good. Marten might actually feel really quite good.
Well, this is not Golbez.
No, it's Val, which would have been an indicator that the hook isn't your route underground, by the way. But I mean, of course, we know it wasn't because it was the magma, but...
But if they had routed differently and decided, oh, this must be my underground access, this would be their wake-up call.
Chat wishing for violence, both Golbez and both halves of Forge here in Baron Castle. It's technically possible.
Well, the fun part is nobody has spotted Super Cannon or Top of Tower or the package boss.
No, correct. We will get that Top of Tower boss check at the end of this hook route dive, though.
Which, this is going to go kind of quick, considering Mylon is weak to Holy.
Yeah, Mylon's weak to Holy. The other parts of this fight will still do good damage. And then if we got to the Val phase somehow, she's also weak to Holy for kind of whatever reason, but... And actually, I guess with the pile of hit points on this boss, we probably will get there.
Actually, less the pile of hit points, I think, and more that Ruby is strong against Holy, so you don't get the second strong hit to end it early.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was guaranteed not to be quad 9s, but...
Yeah. Well, it was actually only like 2,500.
Yeah. Yeah, fun fact about the elements, they absorb all the elements you don't want them to, so like if you're on the Mylon phase, cast nothing but fire, it will absorb everything else. Same with the Ruby phase, cast nothing but ice, or it will just laugh at you and absorb it. And that includes the holy element.
Oh, and it looks like Dark Elf is sitting on the Baron throne.
Alright, who's this boss?
Oh!
It's Golbez! Top of tower, Golbez was there the whole time. That's go mode for Marten.
Yeah, it means that we are not going to see Marten pick up the Baron key or any more of these things. I mean, there's a lot of items still missing. The Luca key, the Girth crystal.
Did you... yes, the Earth crystal. My brain heard something very different. The only right way Rhybon is going to be in this still. He has to get exactly both halves of Forge from this check.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's after dark. It's fine. It's totally fine. All right, so this is pretty important. The odds are stacked against Rhybon, but we're gonna cross our fingers. It is the Legend Sword. That is half a forge.
There's a little bit of hope.
We're gonna do the basement right now. This has to be adamant. It has to be adamant, and then he's got the pass and can run straight to Z at probably actually ahead of Marten if that. Well, no, he has to run and then forge, and then yeah. I don't know. This is. Oh, I'm sorry. He has to do the entire moon. He has to do the entire moon. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah. Marten's still quite a bit ahead here, but like it's still like it you know, if you want Rhybon to have any bit of a chance here, like it's got to be here.
When you also say like hopefully the adamant's here, but we are also running low on gating key items, so the chance of it being a terminal key item is a little bit lower. There is this pan bonk and the pan turn in, so those two could have value, but
yeah, they could. Well, I mean, they come from the moon, unfortunately, but which, yeah, I mean, yeah, Rhybon does have to do that moon. Maybe he, you know, chases that pan immediately, but Marten, yeah, I mean, it's tough because Marten has such a strong party at Seromas. Like, I don't see the world that he wipes. Like, you'd really have to like walk away from your computer and like forget about the seed for like a while. Like a black hole happens and you just don't come back.
Yeah, this is
the only way that he'd wipe. Especially
with Marten's joy of talking about action efficiency. There's two characters who are going to be taking turns, I think, in Zeramus.
Yeah.
And one of them we deserved.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we do get forced through Golbez's comedy routine. And now the real terror. So spooky. Oh, and then Luke also has one of my favorite lines. And now the real fight.
Which luckily Berserk went off first, and Poison does not care about Nuke. Or yeah, Nuke doesn't care about Poison, rather.
Yeah. Right, what is this from Rhybon's side? Oh, it's the Luca key. Yeah, okay. I mean, we were already pretty certainly done, but that's like that's the extra nail in the coffin. It just would have been fun to get Forge.
It would have.
We would have checked it. All the harps are pretty good for Eddie. And what did... I actually missed what Marten got out of that check. Not that it matters for him. Well, yes.
Also looks like there. It also looked like.
Oh, a Zeus Gauntlet. Okay, he got a Zeus Gauntlet, which honestly, like, you don't really need it, but sure, I'll take it.
But you're not going to turn it down as you walk into Z.
Even more powerful, overwhelming? Sure.
Yeah, there's a couple different places step that the pan could, or the adamant could be. We've got 2 pan bonks, tower. Yeah, I think those are kind of the 2 gating ones we still got.
Could also be behind a very gross chain of like pan into tower into earth crystal into into rat tail into adamant. I'm gonna hope that's not the case for Rhybon's sanity, but
yeah, tower was in the ribbon room, so
okay, sure, but yeah.
Yeah,
tower
there could still be tower
or pan into all that. I mean, this randomizer likes to do that. Just kind of put everything at the very end.
Okay, what is Marten grabbing out of here?
Running. I'm curious what he wants.
Is he out of Veils?
Or Bacchus here? Oh, maybe he saw Veils were here. Yeah, he doesn't. He's looking for a particular item, and he doesn't quite remember where it is. It could be a silk web, but I don't think you need it. You've got these Zerkers. You've got a cursed ring for Edward, which is like, it's not perfect, but it's fine. You've got literally all the health on both the party members who matter. It could be Bacchus. you have... I mean, you've got the people who can cast Berserk, so I don't think it's too much of a concern. Certainly something we'll have to ask when Martin's done with this.
Yes, and Martin certainly has decided that whatever it was he was looking for, he doesn't really need it.
Yeah, he said, yeah, I'm good.
Oh,
Maybe
Silk
he
Web,
wanted
maybe? Does he
carrot.
have a web? No, he got it. He got that out of Feymarch. Never mind.
Maybe he wanted carrots. Maybe he saw and just wanted to go buy a pile of 99 carrots.
The tribute to Pancraz is completely accepted.
Oh, by the way, this is Aramis. Something, but something, booty, something.
Yeah, but pants, taxes.
Tax. Butts, pants, death and taxes? I mean, Zeromus' death, certainly.
Alright, let's see what we end up finding.
Oh yeah, also, blah, 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 whose butt are we kicking, blah, blah, blah. Got there.
Just in the nick of time.
This is going to be quite a clean fight. That Rosa is up to 2,900 hit points. I'm pretty sure that Big Bang at max does 2,700. There might be a 9 roll that could do more, or that might actually be the 9 roll, meaning like how many rolls of damage that it gets. Hey, Gato. This is a good one.
There it is. So we already have an head.
Does this butt have girth? I would say the butt kind of has some sizeability to it, wouldn't you?
I mean, by weight alone, right? He's a robot, giant robot.
Yeah, exactly. I will also say the butt is cute. It's very cute.
I agree. He's just singing his heart out, and Martin's party has decided to just end that happiness.
Yeah, each nuke in Big Bang is actually a song.
Something dropping those fat beats.
I do enjoy. So there are seriously like 600 something sprites in this pool. In this version of the randomizer, it might be more like 550 to be honest, but it's still, that's a lot. That is a lot. But sprites do still somehow find their way to repeat. It's very fascinating. RNG really doesn't care.
No, I mean, my personal favorite statistic is that you have a 1% chance of seeing some form of Sephiroth.
Yeah, this is very true. Scala Kitty, who is the resident art dev, who's done the vast majority of these seeds. Huge shout out to that, major work. Does have a love of Sephiroth, and we do have a good number of them. Also, was that a Meteor queued up from Tella? I'm here for this.
I deeply, deeply hope so. Even better if he sets it up as the kill.
I don't think it's gonna hit, but, you know.
Probably not.
We're casting it, and yeah. Well, okay. Oh, is that the skip? It could actually land. We're doing a big pile of damage here.
I want
It might even nerf this Big Bang if somehow a second Big Bang came out. It won't, but if it did. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna nerf because we skipped past, but the Thor Edge happened anyways. It's certainly heads up from Martin. Like the only way he somehow wipes is, I mean, I don't know. That's also his 4K hit points, but yeah, there's the Meteo. How much damage? Wow, it's pretty good actually. By the way, when you cast the Holy Element against Zeromus, which that is, Meteo is holy. You get the weak counter. Which is why we never directly cast the white spell against this boss.
And Martin has now had RNG take the wheel.
Yeah, it looks like that didn't get nerfed actually, but
now we're in medium.
It's gotta be okay.
Once more with feeling, and GG's to Marten Broadcloak for the time of 1:16:40.
Well done, Martin. Very clean race. Looking forward to that interview. I'm sure he'll be here very shortly. Meanwhile, Rhybon, little mini Rhybon's gonna run out this Golbez. Has that objective to take out. Hey, there he is. GG's, Martin.
Entertainment value through the roof.
Yeah. How'd it feel to cast Meteo against Saromas with Tala?
I was never expecting that to fire. Like, he'll die before
me neither,
that,
to be
but
honest.
that's funny anyway. So it's like, wait a minute. Oh no.
Yeah.
And then you skipped you got the fake shake because you pushed it over, and then you were like,
Yep.
here we go.
Yep. I knew there was a chance. So, wow, what a seed.
All right, I gotta ask 2 questions.
All right, let's hear 'em.
My first question, what were we looking for in the Dwarf Castle shop, and why were they
Bacchus.
carrots?
Bacchus.
Dang.
I would have bought in carrots. But yeah, no, Bacchus.
Yeah, that makes sense. Slightly
Anything
faster.
to basically... I knew going in on 33 agility that was, and especially on battle speed 1, I'm like, I'm not dropping this, but the first round is going to be fast. I would have loved a way to let the white mages do other things, like maybe put a wall on Edward in case he ate the counter nuke. But yay, got lucky. So
Makes a lot of sense given the agility, and yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
yeah, in hindsight, I probably should have checked the hook shop on my way down, but it was just no. I needed to find Golbez. It's like everything is secondary. Just go.
Yep.
So
About that point, when you realized you were like Golbez go mode, like, how are you feeling?
Truth be told, I honestly thought that ruby I faded at the bottom of the moon, I thought it would have like the package and Golbez would be behind it or something. It'd be like, all right, well, I that's kind of why I full cleared the moon too. I was looking to hedge my bet a little with finding maybe half of Forge. That way I had 2 ways out of this seed. But yeah, that moon was at least it coughed up a spoon. That was nice.
It did. You got a spoon word. You had like ridiculous power this seed turned out.
Yeah. I was talking with Rhybon afterwards. The benefit of starting with Potato Party is you're shopping for like anything. And yeah, Silvara grass.
Silvara grass.
I
The heroin rope.
strings there all the time, and this time it was like, hey, here's the one tool that's going to make your party go. Oh, by the way, here's vampires too. Like, yay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was also pretty great to see Rhybon slightly later on, because the Magma Key came shortly after that. Wow, that was hard to say. The Tamra shop was the Porum one-stop shop too, with the bow, the arrows, and the heroin robe. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so really where you two diverged was one of you did Twin Harp earlier, and the other did not.
I've been burned by just sitting on objectives, and you know, when I went underground, you know, getting that magma key and chasing it immediately. As soon as I saw that samurai bow there, it's like, okay, I have enough power to like kill things on the overworld, and you know, the twin harp is like, all right, well, whatever's there, I get through it. It's gonna take a minute, but I get through it. Let me go do it. And boy, let me tell you, when myself and Rhybon were joking around prior to the seed, I have a special place in my heart for D-Money. I was not happy seeing that darkness crystal. I was very not. There was a lot of pausing involved on how angry I was about doing that. Even though it was the right play, but...
The next question on my mind, I mean, you know, the moon turned out to be quite free. You also had sirens, so explain for the audience, what drove you to that D machine anyways?
So the idea was I knew I had a character in Baron N, whoever it was. So they were slingable. When I got Darkness, I went straight to the moon. It's like, all right, there's the short list of characters. Radia, Palom, Cecil. That's like, okay, these are slingable. I was really hoping for Cecil because, hey, Sheila 1, here's your complimentary crystal sword. Like, please be the guy. And then it was the guy. It's like, well, that's the plan. So, because he and his significant other can carry an entire seed by themselves.
That's right.
So
they sure can.
That was the intent. And did Bahamut to shut down losing to a Golbez sneakily hiding back there and blew up the moon and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the seed really kind of gave you all the keys.
It did. It did very much so. I don't know. Without the heroine robe, I'm not sure. I mean, you still, with Magma and everything, a Samurai Bow and all that, doing the Siren to get Berserk online, Berserk Blink and everything. Like, there's still a route that you get through that Twin Harp early. It's just a call you have to make. It's like, is, Samurai Charm enough? And, at that spot, it's only 5,000 HP. So, regardless of... And throwing a Silk Web on it to make sure that I don't slow down to the point where 1-to-1 was something I had in mind when I saw Pale Dim as well. So...
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Certainly, Rhybon could have taken it, but without the heroine robe, it would have been essentially slow, right?
Yeah.
So,
I ended up berserking both of them, and I mean, it was extra damage. I just left her with a bonk stick and let her do her thing. So
yeah, plus you got all the doots out. Chat was very happy, by the way. Extremely happy with you. Yeah, well, also, Rhybon did forfeit, to let chat know. Big GG's to Rhybon, of course. Incredible runner. Has declined an interview, so really it's just us, Martin, until we end up closing it out.
I can't say enough about him. I when I made the stream title today, it's legendary Rhybon. I mean, he wins ZZ5 Red Moon, and this is something I haven't been fading him, but this is something that's needed to happen. We needed to face off, and I'm glad it was here. And yeah, the seed played very well to what I do, and I can't say enough great things about how good he is and how little sleep he's currently running on, because catching a 10-hour flight halfway around the world, taking a nap, and then coming here to face me.
You'll love his naming scheme when you rewatch this.
It's on my list to do. I definitely am going to rewatch this one, but I would honestly, I'd race Rhybon anytime.
So when's the rematch?
It's funny you mentioned that. He was already talking about the best of 3.
Oh. Okay, all right,
we may have to run those ones kind of offline and just see, because I'd like him fully rested.
Oh, well, yeah. Sure, of course.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, if you do that, that'll be fun. Looking forward to it, if so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Scythe's offering to roll your seeds for you, by the
way. It's funny. I was actually hoping for an Edward start. As strange as that sounds,
it's your wheelhouse.
I'm stronger when things get tougher, and Ed's probably one of the worst starters for Sea Hero, just because of agility shenanigans and people not being able to keep up with him. So it's like, yeah, give me this and just let me run with it. And it worked out this time.
Yeah, certainly so. Yeah. And I would say, Edward is probably the if you're not up for a challenge, like Edward is the challenge mode hero for sure.
He is, especially, and I talked to Rhybon, and he talked about doing 30 and 30. The issue is it's his speed. It's just getting other characters' turns. because he's so fast and gains agility. I mean, it tapers off at the end, but it's like, how do you get these people in the rotation? And it's like, so yeah, that heroine robe paid off big, and just finding characters that can keep up with Edward is the challenge. So
Yeah.
sad Edge didn't get to make an appearance, so he gets to stay in bed. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It was a good seed. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, very well run, very well executed, of course, by both of you. A pleasure to watch. We almost had a hype moment at Baron. We did have half of Forge with Rhybon. Kind of that's about here where he was at when you were when you had just found Golbez. So it's like, you know, kind of a fun moment there. But yeah, this seed had its moments for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rhybon. Mole boy. I'm tired. It's like
it's late.
Almost 1 in the morning here.
I had to give Rhybon a nap because I didn't want to be like, hey, yeah, come back from
Of
halfway
course,
across the world and then just come face me immediately. That's not nice.
No.
So apologies to anyone who's like, oh my God, just shut up so we can go to bed.
What I was going to ask is, Mole Boy, do you have anything for Martin or
I think the only one I had is like, so as you ran the seed, Martin, do you feel like there's any misstep? Do you feel like something where you had that moment of like, ah, crap? Like where you're like, what if Rhybon checked this first?
I think the only thing, the small hiccup, and I checked my inventory right at that time. As soon as I saw that darkness crystal, I'm like, I've seen ethers. I have no idea where the heck they are. Crap. And then I checked my inventory and I had an elixir and an ether too. I'm like, that's fine. I'm glad I can't remember them. I'm good. Other than that, no, I was okay with hedging my bets, doing the entire moon. Hook Rat was fine. Piggy Golbez was fine. Trying to find alcohol was fine. Yeah. Checking demist via the whale, that was fine.
We appreciated that for sure.
At least I remembered that one. No, I think overall I ran that one fairly well. It's always hindsight, so you watch it back afterwards and then you get a nitpick yourself. But you know, for the most part, no, I'm pretty okay with it.
Great. No, it was a heck of a race, super entertaining, and thank you so much for putting it on.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, Martin, go enjoy the rest of your night. Take this victory.
I plan to also one parting gift for you all.
Okay.
There you go. Good night,
you know,
you
I should have expected that, and yet here I am. Thank you, Martin. Good
You're
night.
welcome.
All right, well, that wraps it up for Moonveil Mixer. What a time, huh?
Definitely a good one to go out on.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we will have Moonveil Mixer again, but we're moving, so I believe next week is a break week, right? And then we're going into playoffs. Playoffs is going to involve both Moonveil Mixer and the previous Potion Party flag set. We'll have announced, who our top 4 teams are. Of course, scheduling for that, week after next will open up eventually. Like, there are things, in play. But for this week, we get to take a break, take a rest, and yeah. So that's it for us tonight. But I hear this kind of small thing called Games Done Quick is going on.
Yeah, it might have a reason why we're not doing anything next week.
I take that back, actually. Yeah, very good reminder. There is a tiebreaker race coming. This is Cubs versus NG Dave. I personally don't know the full details, but I believe this is a tiebreaker necessary to determine. It might even be just to determine pairings. Yeah.
Yeah, it's second and third to decide who gets to set precedence.
Yeah, so definitely look forward to that. Cubs versus NG Dave. That's also going to be a very close match. I think that's going to be a fun one.
And I believe that's set for Tuesday. Last I heard.
Could be. Definitely check our Discord to confirm.
Yep.
But yeah, otherwise, we're going to head on over to Games Done Quick. Or, I don't know, they're probably running something super fun. Definitely
Oh,
give them your support.
Looks like Thief 2014 edition is up next.
Ooh, I've never played that game. I've always wanted to.
That is the
Anyway.
soft reboot, but people love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, that's it for me. That's it from Old Boy. Unless you got anything else. Good night.